Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Perry Live 365. My name is Cooper Richter, and we are getting ready for first pitch here at the Perry Softball Stadium as the Perry Pumas are getting ready to take on the Chandler Wolves. We will be right back with first pitch. Sage Stutz in the pitching circle for the Pumas today as they get ready to take on the Wolves. First up for the Chandler Wolves, it's a drive into left field, and that's going to be a single for the Wolves. Here for their first up hitter. Number 4, the third base player for the Wolves, Nadia Gutierrez, it looks like. Goes down for the bunt. Sydney Smith over to grab it, and she's going to get it over to first. But that runner is going to move up to second. So there's one out here in the top of the first, but one on in scoring position for the Wolves. Number 10, Lily Saucedo, ready to go. Sophomore at the plate. It's a drive foul over to the right field side. Saucedo this year batting an average of .429, 36 hits on the season, and 38 RBIs. She's a sophomore this year. Little hit down the third base line, gonna go foul. And so that's gonna make the count 0-2. It's been a very windy afternoon here in Gilbert. A lot of clouds in the sky though. Some dust, it's kept the temp down. There's an off-speed pitch from Stutz. Stays up for a ball. It's going to make the count 1-2. The 1-2 from Stutz. Going to be a swung and a miss. The runner heads down to first. Looks like Luhan behind the plate missed the foul ball. Apparently it was tipped off on the hit, so she's going to get on base. Number 6 is going to move down to third. Number 11, Rachel Brown coming up for the Wolves. Got an 0-1 count. She's a senior this year. Swing on a miss for strike 2. Batting .469 this year, Brown. Batting well over the national average. And she has an immediate 0-2 count. Going to be high for a ball. 2-2 count now. From Stutz, going to be called inside for ball 3. Make the count full. Here for Brown, has 38 hits this year with 34 RBIs. Going to be hit. Lacoste over to second and down to Grayson at first, and they'll get the double play. That'll get the Pumas out of the inning. And we'll be back for the Pumas half of the first here on Perry Live 365. We'll be right back. Number 3, Emily Castle on the mound for the Wolves today. Junior this year. And the first pitch is called a ball. Hit into right field. She misses it. It's over her head. And the Pumas are going to have a stand-up double here to start the game.
Now batting third baseman number 6, Sydney Smith.
Number 6, Sydney Smith, coming up for the Pumas with already a runner in scoring position. Sydney Smith batting over the national average right now with a .368 batting record. 28 hits on the season with 15 RBIs. She's got a 1-0 count. Gonna be called low and outside for ball 2. Smith is one of the more disciplined batters here on the team. She's a senior this year. Gonna be called a strike, make it a 2-1 count. 8 seniors this year on this Puma softball team. Gonna be hit right up to the first baseman. She will make the grab and get the out. But number 15 for the Pumas moves over to third. So with 1 out, the Pumas are just 1 base away from a run on the board. piper Luhan at the plate now. Another one of the seniors on this team. Batting .542 this year. One of the higher percentages on this Puma team. Luhan's got a 2-0 count here to start. Got a hit over to the left field side. It's going to be called foul. Make it a 2-1 count. 39 hits this year with 30 RBIs. Three and 1 count. Luhan gets ahead. The pitchers are pitching right into the wind today. And she's going to get the walk. Called low for ball 4. And it's like Coach Rob Hehe's going to call a time to switch the runners. And it'll be number 5, Brianna Matos, to come in to run for Piper Luhan.
Now batting, number 11, Chloe Grayson.
Number 11, Chloe Grayson coming to the plate now. Gonna be called strike 1. Matos is gonna get into second. And number 15, Tally Gorman, will be safe still at third. Chloe Grayson, number 11, batting .410 this year for the Pumas with 25 hits, 17 RBIs. Called inside for ball 1, make the count even at 1. With only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Pumas have the chance to do some damage early here. Grayson over to shortstop. But the Pumas are going to have a run in, and Matos is going to move up to third. So the Pumas strike first here. Second baseman Julian Lacoste coming up to the plate now for the Pumas. Julian is another one of the seniors on the team this year. Lacoste's batting .255 this year with 14 hits and 19 RBIs. Gonna be called strike 1, making a 1-1 count. Pumas are coached by Coach Rob Hehe and assistant coach John Roberts. So Goss gets a hit, and it's caught by the first base, and that's going to end the inning here. But the Pumas get on the board first. It'll make the score Chandler 0, Pumas 1. We'll be right back for the top of the second. It's not that bad, though. Doing this, it's not that bad. Number 13, Tatum Slate will come on the bat now to start the top of the second for the Chandler Wolves. Gonna be called strike one looking. Tatum's batting .426 this year for the Wolves with 29 hits, 26 RPIs. And she's going to be on first, hit by the pitch.
Now batting number 9, Sydney Babick.
Number 9, Sydney Babick will come to the plate. Batting .270 this year for the Wolves. Gonna get a called first strike. 17 hits, 16 RBIs for the Wolves with 11 runs scored this season. Swing and a miss for strike 2, and she's gonna be in behind the count, 0-2. Stage Stutz with the 0-2. Gonna be called outside for ball 1. Puma's infield reads the same as Tuesday. Luhan behind the plate. There's a hit over to Smith. Turns to second. Lacoste gets the out at second but can't turn the double. So there will be one out here to start the second. And the Wolves will have a runner on first.
Batting for the Wolves, number 24, Brianna Williams.
Brianna Williams coming up now. Number 24 for the Wolves. Over at second, Gorge at first, but she's going to be safe. 2 outs now.
Batting for the Wolves, center fielder, number 7, Cammie Anson.
Number 7, Cammie Anson now for the Wolves. Batting .400 this year. 10 hits, 8 RBIs, and 17 runs scored on the season. Like I said earlier, the Pumas infield reads the same as the game on Tuesday. Luhan behind the plate, Stutz in the pitcher's circle, Sydney Smith over there at third, Sammy Gorge on second, Julian Lacoste at second, Sammy Gorge at shortstop, and Chloe Grayson over there on first. Gonna be inside for a 2-1 count. Cammie Anderson, a sophomore this year for the Wolves. On JV freshman year and moved up her sophomore year to the varsity team. Gonna be taken low for a ball. It'll load up the count at 3-2. Swung on a miss for strike 3, and the Pumas will get out of it with nothing happening for Chandler. And we'll be back in just a second to start the bottom of the second here on Perry Live 365. Liberty Justice here to start. The bottom of the second for the Pumas. Liberty Justice has a Linton to left field, and she's going to be on first. Start this inning off. Coming up next for the Pumas, number 12, Natalie Arvizu coming to the plate now, the left fielder for the team. Called strike one. Natalie batting .385 this year for the Pumas. 20 hits, 11 RBIs, and scored 20 runs for the team this year. One count here for Natalie. Two and one count here for Arvizu. Goes for the bunt. Gets it down, and she's going to be safe at first. It'll move Liberty Justice to second. And that was a successful bunt for the Pumas. Coming up next for the Pumas. It's going to be number 2, Sammy Gorgia. Sammy, a junior this year for the Pumas. Playing over there at shortstop. Batting .229 with 11 hits and 10 RBIs. 12 runs on the season. She's got a 1-0 count on her right now. Looks for the bunt, but it's going to be called strike. She couldn't pull it back in time. Oh, 2 count. It's like the catcher walking out towards the pitcher circle. Gorgia over there talking with Coach Hee. She comes back to the plate with an 0-2 count. Way high for ball one. Runners stay put though for the Pumas. Arvizu over there on first, and Liberty Justice up on second. Trying to get another run on the board for the Pumas. Hit over to the second base, and they're going to be safe at first, so they'll get the out at second, but Liberty Justice will move up to third, and Gorgia is going to be safe on first as number 3, Jordan Pearson, approaches the plate. Pearson, another one of the seniors here on this Puma softball team. One of the multi-sport athletes on this team, also plays badminton for the Perry Pumas. Pearson batting .321 this year, just over the national average. Goes for the bunt, gonna have an 0-1 count. Pearson's got 17 hits, 5 RBIs, and 15 runs for the Pumas. Gonna be a hit over to the shortstop. Pearson's gonna be safe at first though, so they get another out at second, but Liberty Justice will score. That's gonna make the score Perry 2, Chandler 0 here in the bottom of the second. Pearson's gonna be safe at first. Coming up next for the Pumas is gonna be number 15, Talia Gorman. So back up to the top of the lineup for the Pumas. Oh, 2 count. Hitting to center field. Gets it up, and Pearson's going to be on second with Gorman at first. Coming up next to the plate, third baseman, number 6, Sydney Smith. Couldn't get anything going the first inning, so we'll see what she can do here. Her second at-bat here in the bottom of the second. 2 outs for the Pumas. Takes one looking for strike 1. Be hit over to the right side, and it's going to be called foul. So the runners will have to come back, almost down to the fence. It was a deep hit, but just went to the right side, so it will be called foul. And she'll come back to the plate with an 0-2 count. The 0-2 for Smith. Going to be taken high for ball 1. Smith now with an 1-2 count. Ball 2 is inside. Perry had one practice in between their last game. Played Bash on Tuesday. Got the win there, 5-3. There's a deep hit for Sydney Smith. It's going to be off the fence, and that's going to be called a home run. Comes off the net out there in center field. And that's going to be a home run for Sydney Smith. As she comes into home, that's going to make the score 5 for Perry, 0 for Chandler. With 2 outs here in the second. Like I said earlier, Perry coming off a win against Basha at home on Tuesday. Pumas won that game 5-3 after just playing Basha at Basha Friday night. Piper Luhan coming up to the plate next here. Piper, one of the stronger hitters here for the Pumas. Gonna be called strike 1 for Luhan. And she's going to be called out at first, and that'll end the inning, but not before Sydney Smith gets that 3-run shot to make it Perry 5 and Chandler 0. We're getting ready for the top of the third. Chandler will be up next here on Perry Live 365. we're back here ready to start the top of the third. Very windy day, like we said, out here in Gilbert. Looking at winds of about 25 miles an hour, 28 miles an hour. A lot of dust went through. The dust has calmed down right now. We're hoping that doesn't come back, but we'll see. And Chandler's getting ready to go here. Number 12 up now for the Wolves. Swing and a miss for strike one. Swing and a miss for 0-2. Sage Stutz gets ahead in the count here early. Gonna be called strike three, swing and a miss. Be a quick first out here in the top of the third.
Now batting first baseman, number 6, Andrea Santillan.
Andrea Santillan coming up now for the Wolves. Number 6. She's going to take a swing and a miss for strike one. Going to be called strike two. Going to be called ball one. Sage thought it was in there, but couldn't get the call. It's going to be a 1-2 count now. Going to be hit right back to Stutz, and she'll get over to Grayson for the second out here in the top of the third.
Now batting number 4, Nadia Gutierrez.
And number 4, Nadia Gutierrez coming up now for the Wolves. She's a sophomore on the team. Batting .286. 10 hits, 3 RBIs, and 16 runs on her season. Gonna be called for strike one looking. Don't forget, coming up next here on the break, get a quick sneak peek into what's coming next here at Perry Live 365 and for this Perry Girls varsity softball team. And Gutierrez has a 2-1 count now with 2 outs here in the top of the third. Little foul ball over towards the Perry side. And that'll make it a 2-2 count now. Popped up over to Sydney Smith, and she'll make the catch for the out. 11, Chloe Grayson gets a little grounder over to second, and she's going to be thrown out at first. That'll be the first out here for the Wolves here in the bottom of the third, excuse me. Coming up next for the Pumas is going to be number 13, Julian Lacoste.
Julian Lacoste. It's raining men.
Going to be called high and outside for ball 1. Just like Jordan Pearson, Julian Lacoste, another multi-sport player here for the Pumas, also plays badminton. One and no count for Lacoste. Hit right over to second base. Hard grounder, but she's going to be thrown out.
Heading to the plate for the Pumas, number 22, Liberty Justice.
Number 22, Liberty Justice. Number 22, Liberty Justice comes up to the plate with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Ground over to third, and Liberty Justice is going to be thrown out. So a quick 1-2-3 inning there for the Wolves. And we're going to be back for the top of the fourth. Here on Perry Live 365. We'll be back in just a second.
Saucedo.
Number Lily Saucedo coming up for the Wolves. Here to start the top of the fourth. Little hit back to Sage Stutz, and that's going to be the first out here in the inning.
Batting for the Wolves, number 11, Rachel Brown.
Rachel Brown now coming up for the Wolves. Little hit over to Lacoste at second, gonna be hard play. Grayson got her at first. Long stretch by Grayson, tough throw by Lacoste, but they get the out. That'll be the quick second out here in the inning.
Number 13, Tatum Slate.
Tatum Slate now coming up here for the Wolves with 2 outs. After a great play over there by Lacoste and Grayson. Be low for ball 1. Be inside for ball 2. Two balls, no strikes, and 2 outs here for the Wolves. Perry leading right now, 5-0 over the Wolves. Could be called strike 1, making a 2-1 count. backstop. It's going to make it an even count at 2-2 now. Excuse me, full count 3-2. Looks like the scoreboard out here was wrong. Quick catch by Grayson, and the Pumas are going to be out of the inning. Little grounder over there to first, and the Pumas are going to be out of the inning. We'll be right back. Start the bottom of the fourth. You're on Perry Live 365. We are back, ready, here to start the bottom of the fourth.
12, Natalie Arvizu.
Natalie Arvizu coming up to bat for the Pumas. Hit by the pitch, and she's going to take it down to first. Up in the mask on the side of the head, it looked like. She's going to talk to Coach Roberts over there at first, make sure she's okay. But the Pumas are going to have Arvizu over there on first. And yeah, it looks like it got her up there on the side of the mask into the side of the head, right by the ear.
For the Pumas, number 2, shortstop, Sammy Georgia.
Sammy Georgia coming up now for the Pumas. With no outs here. She bunts down. It's going to be a good bunt, but they're going to throw over and get her. Arvizu's going to be on second now, though, in scoring position for the Pumas. So 1 out here now for the Wolves. But Jordan Pearson, number 3, is going to come up to the plate.
Batting for the Pumas, center fielder, number 3, Jordan Pearson.
Jordan Pearson, one of the 4 captains on the team, along with Piper Luhan, Sage Stutz, and Sydney Smith. And that's a hit into center field. They're going to bring Arvizu around to score, and Pearson is going to be on first. After a base hit right over second base, dropped it right into center field. That'll put another run on the board for the Pumas, make it 6-0 here with 1 out in the bottom of the fourth.
Talia Gorman.
Talia Gorman now to come to the plate for the Pumas. Jordan Pearson ready to go over there on first. Gorman called strike for an 0-1 count. Jordan Pearson took a little jump. Nothing happened over there at first. Catcher looks Pearson down over there, but she's going to hold it first. One called inside for ball 1. I'm making a 1-1 count. Swung on a miss for strike 2. Catcher comes up, ready to fire again. Looks like Pearson's making her a little nervous over there at first, but she sends it back to the pitcher. We're gonna have a 1-2 count here with 1 out. Gorman fouls it back. So she'll keep it at a 2-2 count. Fouled it right back towards our mic. Back there behind the backstop. Another foul back into the backstop. She'll keep her count alive here at 2-2. Pearson running, and she's going to overthrow into center field. Pearson's going to round and come to third, and she's going to be safe at third, standing up. She slid into second, and she saw that ball overthrown, so she was up and moving again towards third. Number 6, Sydney Smith coming up to the plate. Here for the Pumas. 2 outs here in the bottom of the fourth. But with Pearson on third, Pumas have a chance to change that number. We'll ground her over towards second base, and they'll get to throw over to first, and they'll be out of the inning. But the Pumas put another run on the board to make it Pumas 6, Wolves 0. We'll be right back.
Off for the Wolves, number 9, Sydney Babick.
Sydney Babick coming up for the Wolves here. Sage Stutz still in the pitches circle. Hasn't given up any runs yet this game. She's going to work hard to keep it that way here in the top of the fifth. And looks like Babick is ready to go at the plate. Going to take ball 1. Comes the 1-0 from Stutz. Gonna be swung on. Little hit over to Smith. It sounds like they called it a foul ball. And yes, they're gonna call that one a foul ball. Sydney couldn't quite get to it before it went over the line. So Babick is gonna come back to a 1-1 count. Swung on and hit right over to Grayson. Hard ground ball, but she gets it and touches the bag. Gonna get the first out of the inning. Hard straight hit on the ground to Grayson. No bounce to it. And she got the out at first. Brianna Williams coming up to the plate now for the Wolves with 1 out. Off-speed pitch there from Stutz. Going to be low for ball 1. One and no count. That one called low for ball 2. Make it a 2-0 count. Stutz steals. Gonna be called strike 1 looking, make it a 2-1 count. That was an off-speed pitch. It's gonna be in there for strike 2. Two and two with 1 out. Called ball low. Stutz wanted that one, called a strike, but couldn't get it. It'll load up the count at 3 and 2. Fouled back into the backstop. Keeper count alive at 3-2. Little hit over there to Lacoste at second. Tosses it over to Grayson. That's going to be out number 2 here in the inning. If you're just joining us here live at Perry Live 365, we are in the top of the 5th. Perry has a score of 6. Chandler with 0. In this 6A conference matchup between the Perry Pumas and the Chandler Wolves. Going to be a 1-0 count here with 2 outs. Be taken for strike 1. One and one with 2 outs. Hit right up down the middle. Gonna bounce off second base. Pearson will get in there and pick it up and send it in. It'll only be a single for the Wolves, but a runner on. With 2 outs here in the 5th.
Batting for the Wolves, number 12, Saudry Auckland.
Number 12, Saudry Auckland. Coming up now for the Wolves. Hit right back to Stutz. Gets it over to Grayson. That'll be out number 3. Pumas get out of it. And we'll be right back for the bottom of the 5th here on Perry Live 365. Coming back here to start the bottom of the 5th. The wind finally starting to die down here a little bit in Gilbert. Down to about 15 miles an hour, but the dust is gone, and it looks like the blue skies are starting to come out again.
Plate for the Pumas, catcher number 8, Piper Luhan.
Number 8, Piper Luhan coming up to the plate now. Takes high for ball 1. It'll be a 2-0 count now after that ball. For Piper. Getting ready. It's a hit. Bobbled by the second base, and Piper's going to be safe at first. Bobbled by the second base over there. Number 6, and Piper is going to be on first, but number 5, Brandon Matos, is going to come in to run for her. So a pinch runner for the Pumas. Chloe Grayson, number 11, the first base, coming up to bat for the Pumas. Gonna take strike one, looking. No outs here for the Pumas in the bottom of the fifth. With Matos over there on first, ready to go. There's a hit to center field. This is the ball, and Matos is going to be safe at second. Ball was a little too short there for the center fielder to make the catch, and that is going to put Grayson on safe at first. With Brianna Matos coming into second. Coming up next to the plate, looks like number 13, Julian Lacoste. Julian takes an off speed there for strike one. Will bounce over to the shortstop. Low throw, but Jill's going to be called out, but it'll advance the runners now with one out. We're going to have Brianna Matos on third and Chloe Grayson on second.
Number
22, right fielder, Liberty Justice coming up to the plate with two in scoring position and only one out. Definitely a chance here for the Pumas to put a few more on the board. Libby's going to take her first one high for ball one. Going to take that one high and outside for ball two. Chloe Grayson over there at second. Checks her swing there, doesn't go. It's going to make the count 3-0. And Libby is going to take the walk over there to first. He's going to load the bases. For number 12 coming up to the plate now.
12,
Natalie Arvizu for the Pumas coming up to the plate. Loaded bases with one out here. Definitely a chance for the Pumas to put a few more on the board. Gonna be called strike one. Gonna be taken for ball one. Gonna be taken low for ball two, making a 2-1 count. Two and one count for Arvizu. High and inside for ball three. Three and one count now. Hit her at third base. It's bobbled, but she's going to tag the base and get the out. But Matos will score, putting the Pumas up to 7 here with 2 outs. And the Pumas are going to have base runners on first and second. Little talking there between Coach Rob Hehe and the umpires. Sammy Gorgia now, number 2, coming up to the plate. Takes one high. Be taken high for ball 2. Two and 0 count here for Gorgia. Takes one inside, makes it 3-0 count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. 2 on for the Pumas. It'll be called strike 1, making a 3-1 count. Number 22, Liberty Justice, over there on second. Number 12, Natalie Arvizu over at first. 3-1 count for Gorgia. You hit up the middle. It's going to be to center field. And Justice is going to head back to third. She rounded it like she was going for home, but decided not to take it. It'll load up the bases here for the Pumas with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The center fielder, Jordan Pearson, now will come up to the plate for the Pumas and try to put a few more on the board here. Pumas lead it 7-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. Here comes Pearson to the plate. Looks like the catcher went out to talk to the pitcher for a second. Pearson getting a few extra swings in there at home plate. Getting ready to go. With 2 outs. Popped into left field. Number 21 makes the catch for the Wolves, and they'll be out of the inning. Pumas leave 3 on base, but score 1. Make the score Perry 7, Chandler 0. We'll be right back here on Perry Live 365. Be called outside for ball 1 here to start the 6th. Stutz getting the sign from her coach. Getting ready to go with this 1-0 count. One and 1 count here for the Wolves. Fouls it back into the backstop. Makes it a 1 and 2 count. Pumas outfield consists of number 22, Liberty Justice, over there in right. Jordan Pearson out center, and Natalie Arvizu over in left. It's a hit right back to Lacoste, throws it over to Grayson, and that will be the first out of the inning for the Pumas. Nadia Gutierrez coming up now for the Wolves. Infield's looking the same. Sydney Smith playing in. So's Gorgia. She goes down to bunt. Couldn't get a hold of it, so it's going to be strike one. Now we see why Sydney Smith and Sammy Gorgia were in on the infield. Swings, it's off of Stutz' glove. Gorgia picks it up nicely, makes a great play over to Grayson. That's going to be second out here in the inning.
At the plate for the Wolves, number 10, Lily Saucedo.
Lily Saucedo now coming up to the plate. Number 10 for the Wolves. Stutz still on the mound here for the Pumas. She's a junior this year. She pitched last year as a sophomore for the Pumas. Pitching again this year. Like we said, she's a junior, so she'll have another year next year to continue for the Pumas. Two outs here for the Wolves. Number 10 at the plate with a 1-1 count. Hit just over to the right side, foul. Grayson sends it back to Stutz for a 1-2 count here with 2 outs. Stutz trying to get out of the 6th. Hit over again to the right side, gonna be foul. Grayson grabs it, sends it back. And we'll stay with the 1-2 count here. That time it goes over to Lacoste at second, sends it over to Grayson at first, and that will be the last out of the inning. Nobody on for Chandler, 1-2-3 inning for the Pumas, and we will be right back here on Perry Live 365. And we're ready to go here in the 6th. Talia Gorman will be the first up to bat. And looks like we are ready to go. Chandler takes the field. Talia Gorman, number 15 at the plate. Coach Rob Hehe over there on the third base side. Coach Roberts over there on the first base side. Be swung on for strike one. Popped up over to the right side. Second base under it, and she's got the catch to make the first out here in the 6th. Coming up next for the Pumas, number 6, Sydney Smith. One of the 4 captains here on the team. Sydney Smith had a 3-run homer early in the game. Out there to the center field net. The wind is carrying out there today. So that ball carried pretty far. There's a hit back past the pitcher. Over to shortstop. She'll grab it and send it over to first for the second out. 2 outs now as Piper Luhan approaches the plate for the Pumas.
Batting for the Pumas, number 8, catcher Piper.
Number 8. Piper spends most her time behind the plate here for the Pumas. One of the strongest hitters here on the team. Gonna be a hit. It's gonna be up against the fence. Luhan rounding first, coming into second, and she'll be standing with a double out there to the right field fence, right over the right fielder. Comes down and hits the fence. Carried a little farther, it might have gotten over the fence. Number 5, Matos, is gonna come in to run for Luhan as she heads back into the dugout with a stand-up double. Coming up next to the plate, number 11, Chloe Grayson. Comes in with an off speed. Grayson takes it looking for strike 1. Grayson with a deep hit to right field. And the center fielder's going to make the catch with a long run. And that's going to get the Wolves out of the bottom of the 6th quick. We'll go to the top of the 7th. See if the Wolves can get anything going for their team, as it's their last chance. We'll be right back here on Perry Live 365. Number 11, Rachel Brown for the Wolves, getting ready to come up next. Get ready to start the 7th here. Gonna be called strike 1. See if Chandler can get anything swinging here in the top of the 7th. They're currently down right now. Perry 7, Chandler 0. Off speed pitch, gonna be hit over to Sydney Smith, and she'll get the first out over to Grayson. Stutz is going to have her first out here in the bottom of the 7th. Nice play over there by number 6, Sydney Smith, the senior. Gets it over to Grayson nice and quick, and it'll be 1 out. We call ball 1 low for Stutz. We called strike 1 looking. Little foul tip over there to the third base side. there on first, Chloe Grayson had to make a few quick plays today. A few hard ground balls driven over there. Made some good catches. Definitely some hard ground balls over there towards the second base and first base today. Lacoste has had to make a few quick grabs. So is Grayson. Definitely good performance over there on the first base side. Gonna be hit back and over the backstop. Gonna keep the count at 1-2 here with 1 out in the top of the 7th. The 1-2 is gonna be swung on and missed. Pumas throw it around here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Stutz has one more out to get.
Sydney Babick.
And Sydney Babick will come up to the plate, number 9. Trying to keep her team alive here with 2 outs. Fouls back. Fouls back. Hits the umpire. Looks like he's going to be okay over there, though. Looks like it came back and hit him in the leg. Luhan, the catcher, asked him to make sure he's doing okay. And it looks like we're ready to go. No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, top of the 7th for Chandler. Gonna be ball 1 low, make it a 1-1 count. Sydney Smith playing even with the base over there on third. Gonna be fouled over by the Puma dugout. And the shortstop, Sammy Gorgia, will set it back in. Make it a 1-2 count here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Your Pumas lead it 7-0. Make sure to catch us live tomorrow as the Pumas take on Hamilton here at Perry. 4 o'clock is the first pitch here on Perry Live 365. Keeps the count at 1-2 with 2 outs. Another foul over there by the Puma dugout. She will keep her count alive at 1-2. Wouldn't be surprised to see something interesting here from Stutz. Maybe an off speed. Off speed, and she gets the strikeout. Gets the strikeout looking, and the Pumas going to get out of it. And that's going to be the end of the game with the Pumas getting the win. Perry 7, Chandler 0.
Thanks for coming out today. Our next game is tomorrow against Hamilton, starting at 4 p.m.
Like you heard there over the PA, Hamilton will be here at Perry tomorrow, 4 o'clock, first pitch. We thank you for tuning in here on Perry Live 365. For me and all of my crew, my name is Cooper Richter, and we will see you next time.